Welcome everyone to a brand new Dragon Ball Theoretical. Not gonna lie, I randomly thought of this idea when I was at work, but I just know that I had to start an official series with it. I have no idea if this has already been done or not. I mean, I really haven't seen a what if like this before, so I'm really hyped for this series. For anyone confused with the title, I'm going to be grouping all the Z sagas into one, and the Super Sagas into one later, and who knows, maybe I'll even throw GT into the mix depending on how good the series gets, but who knows. But before we start, please make sure to like this video to support the channel, and subscribe to find the next part of what if all the Dragon Ball sagas happened at the same time. Alright, let's get into it. This series starts right at the battle between Goku, the Super Saiyan of Legends, and Frieza, the Galactic Emperor of the universe. The universe has never seen power like this, for all we know. Two absolute titans clashing in the middle of nowhere. Their energy could be felt all over the galaxy, but in the last beam clash between the two warriors, something odd happened. Goku couldn't feel any heat of combat, but the two fighters just clashed with so much energy they caused a cosmic energy rift to be sent directly at the North Galaxy. I'm sort of taking this cosmic rift idea from the Super Broly movie, but this clash was nowhere near the level of that movie, so it didn't break the dimension, although it might have just had enough power to alter it. But this beam clash doesn't necessarily change Frieza's fate. He gets incinerated while Goku finds a spare Saiyan space pod from the Ginyu Force and flies off to the last known coordinate. From here, we follow canon for a while. The Namekians get sent to New Namek, Yamcha and Krillin get revived, and Goku refuses teleportation to Earth because he's training with the Yardrats, an alien race. Here, people like Vegeta, Piccolo, and Gohan are living relatively normal lives while training pretty consistently after being inspired by Goku's latest win. But believe me, this is probably going to be the last bit of canon we have in this story. Turns out that cosmic energy rift was headed directly over the Earth, and over this time skip, the rift actually slams into Earth. Everyone noticed that Earth slowly started to tremble, but they just kind of wrote it off as an earthquake. I mean, Japan kind of has them all the time, you know? Little did they know that this energy just altered the canon timeline and accelerated two very distinct evils laying dormant in the Earth. The first alternation was with the famous biologist Dr. Gero. He went into hiding after Goku destroyed the Red Ribbon Army, and has been slowly gathering info as well as creating powerful androids from the data he gathers, as well as his genius intellect. Gero, seeing how powerful the Z fighters were getting every year, decides that drastic measures are necessary. He begins to put all other ideas on the back burner, and focuses on one specific android. And to everyone's surprise, this is actually Android 13. But this is far from the Android 13 we know, very far. In this timeline, this android was based off of Dr. Gero himself, and has little to no combat capabilities. Gero figures that with two genius scientists, progress is bound to come faster. So for the next 2 years, let's just say the Gero laboratory will be extra busy. The other alternation was with the son of the legendary magician from space, Bibidi. This was of course Babidi. He was actually flying in his spaceship with Dabra in the North Galaxy when the entire ship began to rattle with power. He thought he went into an asteroid field, but that actually wasn't the case. With a sigh of relief, he then immediately goes into another panic. The egg! What about the egg? Babidi goes to the lower floor, where he's keeping a large pink egg. This is of course Buu. Out of nowhere, the egg begins to produce alarming amounts of steam. Turns out a lot of energy from the cosmic rift seeped into the egg after it passed, progressing Buu's hatch time substantially. Babidi knows that he needs to land the ship as soon as possible, or else Buu would most likely destroy the ship, sending him into the vacuum of space. So they put the ship into hyperdrive, and land on the first planet they see, which is of course, planet Earth. So that's two major antagonists accounted for, but what about the third? So surprise, it turns out Frieza never actually died. Who could have seen that coming? Turns out that King Cold found his remains and used all the engineers at the Frieza Force's disposal to create his son a new body, which took a couple years I guess. This is Mecha Frieza, and he is pissed. Screw training, he's setting sail off to Earth immediately. And that is how all three main sagas of Dragon Ball Z are going to be crumpled up into one giant mess of an arc. But how will the Saiyans ever fare against all these adversaries? Well, turns out the Cosmic Rift didn't affect just the villains, it also affected the Saiyans. Goku was the first to feel this. Turns out, for some reason, the Cosmic Rift heavily affected the Saiyan Zenkai boost at a cellular level, accelerating how effective it was. The rift eventually reached Earth, where once again it affected both Vegeta and Gohan. When the Earth shook, Vegeta noticed his powers swell inside of him, and was quite thrilled, but was immediately horrified after seeing the power coming off of Gohan. Well, that settles it. Vegeta will train Gohan to see if this power truly is real, or if he was just hallucinating. Alright, with that, the 2-year time skip finally occurs. During this time, surprisingly, both Vegeta and Gohan unlocked the Super Saiyan form, Vegeta doing it just a few months before Gohan. And of course, the rest of the Z fighters have been training as well, just not really unlocking any new forms. Piccolo was left behind a bit with all these new forms in play, but he doesn't worry about it. If need be, he could just fuse with Kami, but whatever, he'll do that when something really comes up. Suddenly, all the Z-Fighters feel a familiar yet terrifying key signature coming from space. They know that this must be Frieza, but not just Frieza, someone else is coming, and fast. Vegeta, Piccolo, and Gohan immediately dash to the spot the enemy's gonna land. Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha also join, but realize they're outmatched, so they're probably just gonna be there for moral support. Just as they reach the location, they see the ship fly down and land. And out comes a bunch of Frieza Force soldiers, as well as Frieza, and his father, King Cold. Frieza, annoyed that he doesn't see Goku, yells at Prince Vegeta, demanding to see the one that bested him. Vegeta says that there's no need for Kakarot. It must be fate that he's gone to planet Yardrat. Now Vegeta gets to finish Frieza all by himself. And with that, Frieza calls the Z-Fighters morons and tells the Frieza Force to attack. Surprisingly, Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha are somewhat helpful here since they're able to easily dispose of the Force while the others fight the big two threats. Vegeta takes Mecha Frieza head on while Gohan and Piccolo decide to tag team King Cold. Vegeta vs Mecha Frieza is extremely close, although Vegeta is still in base form. He never personally got to fight Final Form Frieza much, so he's taking his sweet time here, though Frieza is overpowering him here a bit. Meanwhile, the Gohan, Piccolo, King Cold fight is just as even. Gohan also hasn't transformed yet, but they never really met this guy before, so they are on their guard during the fight. But as they fight, they realize he's not as big as a threat as they originally thought. Piccolo decides that this is a great time for Gohan to test his new form. He tells Gohan to go for it, and Gohan screams, exploding in a yellow aura. This is Super Saiyan Teen Gohan. Well, not necessarily teen since this is all happening so fast, so this is sort of Super Saiyan Pre-Teen Gohan. But with this power-up, Gohan is more than enough to defeat King Cold, even without the help of Piccolo. Vegeta, on the other hand, is surprisingly being beaten by Frieza. Frieza slams Vegeta into the ground, smirking menacingly. He then glances over and, to his horror, he sees Gohan turn into a Super Saiyan.
What? That's not possible, two Super Saiyans!
Vegeta spits out blood and stands back up.
Well, Frieza, scared of the little boy? Oh, you're in for quite the rude awakening.
Vegeta suddenly powers up and explodes in the same golden aura, and from the light, Super Saiyan Vegeta appears. Frieza, basically shitting himself, screams,
"Damn you monkeys!"
and charges up to the max, preparing for battle. King Cold sees this and prepares to do the same, when suddenly, a ship appears in the sky and lands. And out steps Bulma with a baby in her hands. She seems to be panicking and trying to look for Vegeta. Vegeta surprisingly tells Frieza to wait for him, and flies off back to Bulma. Frieza, too shocked to just comprehend what happened, just sits there in the sky mumbling angrily to himself about being an emperor. Bulma explains to Vegeta that she and Trunks, their newborn hybrid Saiyan baby, were almost killed back at Capsule Corp while they were taking a walk. It turns out there's something in the West City destroying the entire area. Vegeta is very confused by this. He usually would be able to sense any planetary threats, but for some reason he doesn't sense any ki in that area. He decides that he's going to finish up this fight and go check it out for himself. But just as he turns back to Frieza, he notices yet another familiar ki coming from the sky. And to everyone's surprise, it's a Saiyan space pod. And this is of course, Goku. He exits the ship and is very surprised to see Frieza as well as Vegeta and Gohan. He didn't expect them to get the Super Saiyan transformation, especially not Gohan. Turns out that Goku dropped in at the perfect time. Bulma yells at Vegeta to get him home and not waste any time on this chump. Vegeta sighs and gives Goku his blessing to finish off Frieza, and with that, Vegeta and Bulma leave. Piccolo, overhearing about the commotion in West City, is intrigued and decides to give Goku and Frieza their alone time. So, with Goku here to take on the two Frost Demons, Piccolo and Gohan fly off to West City to catch up with Vegeta. This just leaves the two warriors, Goku and Frieza, with a few other spectators, but whatever. Will Frieza finally be able to lock in and stop Goku? Will Goku absolutely dog walk Frieza? Will Yamcha unlock a new form and absolutely destroy both? Find out the next part of what if all the Dragon Ball sagas happened at the same time. Nah, but in all seriousness, if you made it to the end of this video, I love you because you're supporting the channel with watch time. Feel free to like this video and subscribe to know when part 2 comes out. The like goal for part 2 is going to be 30 likes, so if you like the series, you know what to do. If you're new to the channel, I do all sorts of Dragon Ball content, so stop by and watch a video or two. Alright, I'll see y'all in the next one.